Welcome back. It's time for our weekly visit with head coach Buck James. We're leading up to the game against Longview. Coach, let's start first by talking about practice this past week because your team has had a week off. And so I know a lot of times guys, they get ready for the game. And so it's easier to practice maybe when you have a game. But how do you feel like practices have gone this week leading up to the Longview game?
Well, we went back to basics. We just worked on fundamentals, tackling, throwing, catching, just footwork drills, and did a lot of that kind of stuff. And we didn't get tape of Longview until Friday night, and so we'd basically been through with any kind of work week. And so we went right back to Monday of just being a regular routine game week. We had a JV game at Little Rock Catholic, and that went good. And we had a good work week. This is a very talented football team we're going to play, and we're going to have to measure ourselves against their intensity and their will to win. They have a great program.
Well, I was going to ask you about the focal points in practice after seeing Longview on tape, but if you didn't get the footage till late, there wasn't a lot of time for that, I guess. But what were you able to see? What did you work on related to Longview?
Well, for our fans, they're probably a lot like North Little Rock. I mean, they're very similar to them. They're power football. They're going to run the ball at you, and they're going to throw it deep. Most of their routes are anywhere from 10 to 20 yards deep. They have explosive offensive line. Their running backs are very talented. They play two quarterbacks that are very, very talented. Defensively, they're young, especially on the back end. They've got two really good linebackers, and their defensive line seems to be young, but it's playing well. And this is going to be a big contest. I told our kids this is sort of like Alabama versus Clemson. Now, this is a historic program we're playing. They've won 184 games since Coach has been there. That's nothing to snobby about that at all. And I think our football team really has to prepare to be in a big fight.
Yeah, we just had the big D1 Arkansas versus Texas. This is kind of our version of that because, like you said, they are a perennial program out in East Texas. And, of course, we're right here in Central Arkansas with as dominant as you all have been. A lot of people are excited about the matchup. I do want to mention their wide receiver. I believe his name is Jartavian Wright. He's a really star kid. You said they like to pass deep. How are you going to stop him?
Well, I don't know yet. I mean, nobody stopped him really. He's a guy. He's a dog. I mean, when he wants the ball, he goes and gets the ball. He's one of the top 10 receivers in the country. To say that is saying a mouthful. I mean, he's got Power 5 offers. He's long. He blocks well. He runs great routes. He disguises his routes very well. And they get the ball to him. I mean, he's their go-to guy. And so, we've got to eliminate his touches. We've got to, cap him. We've got to make sure that we confuse their coverages and hopefully hold him in check. I mean, he's definitely the monster, the head of the monster, as you would say, for their football team.
Coach, they say it's bigger in Texas, but we like to say it's better in Arkansas. You do have a very big offensive line. You've got a really good offensive line. How important are they to controlling the pace of the game and getting in the trenches and making sure Chris Ganaway can do what he needs to do running the ball? Make sure Sinclair can have time to catch a pass, that Benson or that Carson's going to have time to throw. What do they have to do to maintain the game?
Well, we have to control the line of scrimmage. I mean, there's no doubt about it. When we're on offense, we've got to be able to run the football when we want to and then make them have to play the pass off of that. And this is vital for us this week. This is a game that will be won and lost in the trenches. There's no doubt about it. This is, just like I said, it's like North Little Rock, it's like Conway, it's like Cabot. This is a game that our football team, where the big nasties play, have to be ready to play and have to play at a high level, and we have to be able to control the line of scrimmage.
Coach, these schools you're mentioning, we know conference is coming, and they're already playing well as well. Little Rock and North Little Rock and Cabot, they're off to a good start this year. Let's say, what do you take out of this game, win or lose, going into conference? I mean, we want to win. We want to keep that win streak alive and everything, but coming out of this game, what do you look at going into conference play? What do you need to work on in this game that's going to help you down the road?
Well, I think it's going to check our mentality. I think our toughness is probably the thing that we're going to get tested the most. And in the past 3 or 4 years, when we got against tough teams, we physically, move forward. And I think this will be something that we can learn from. I told our kids yesterday on the practice field, this is a free one. I mean, this game counts only for the records. It don't count for our conference standings. It don't count for a state championship. It is a measuring stick on where we're at. And this is what you want this time of year. You want to play people that are as good as you or better. You want to play at a hostile environment. You want to play against a team that is nationally recognized. And this is a free game. And this is an opportunity to go out there and showcase yourself, showcase your team, showcase our community and what we're all about here at Bryant. And I think it's an opportunity to go out there and show our stuff. And if we don't, then we'll try to fix it and go back and the drawing board and do some other things. But it's not the end of the season. It's the beginning of the season. This is the end of our conference schedule, and we've got to get ready for Little Rock Catholic, regardless of what happens after this week.
Well, speaking of showcasing the community, they're going to play the game on the giant inflatable screen out at the Bryant Parks Department, taking care of that. So we'll say hello to those people that are tuned into this. One more question defensively, Coach. Do you feel like you're going to be able to get to the quarterback? Are you going to have to step back and try to double coverage those wide receivers, or what's going to be the defensive strategy?
Well, I think the biggest thing is how we're going to control their big offensive line. Their offensive line will outweigh our defensive linemen probably 25 to 50 pounds a man, and that's going to be a big challenge for us. But we've got to be able to hold our own on the line of scrimmage. We've got to fit well. We've got to be in the right spots at the right time. Our linebackers have got to fit well. They've got to fill the alleys that are vacated by our defensive linemen, and our secondary can't get beat deep. And that's the things that we've been emphasizing all week. It's a different type of football when you play power football versus seeing spread teams. And you've got to be in the right spot at the right time. If not, it creates big gaps, and big gaps cause big plays.
All right, Coach James. Well, good luck, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
If you're joining us on the YouTube channel early, make sure you go find the live stream online to watch the game. And if you're watching this during the pregame, then stay tuned. We've got the kickoff coming up next.